20 or 30 and 5 got back to me and 1 said, okay, that was it.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. Well, what happens most often these days is that fresh grads start panicking,
Okay.
as soon as they graduate, because they actually haven't spent the 4 years in the university actually attending career coaching, utilizing all the resources they have, networking with employers.
Okay.
And then because, normally they say, oh, I've got no time, I've got to study, studies are very important.
Yeah.
So what happens is that they panic and then they just spam job portals. They send the same application hundreds of times. They don't bother to personalize the cover letter, or some of them don't even have a cover letter.
Okay.
And what happens is that they think they're being efficient because they're replicating the same thing over and over.
Okay.
But the efficiency doesn't mean effectiveness. There's a huge difference.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. So I wanted to go back to what you said. So when you're in school, you're supposed to be doing things like networking even?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? How do you do networking when you're in school?
Well, networking is all about forming connections.
Yes.
It's all about connecting with your tribes.
Okay.
I'm saying even in primary school, you're networking. You are meeting other people about interests that you're passionate about, whether that's Boy Scouts or whether that's chess or fencing. It doesn't matter. That's all forming networks. People think of networking as like spamming people with cards or handing out cards at events. That's not what networking really is.
Okay.
It's about building your social capital.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
but I can
sense.
see that becomes a difficult thing if you have to balance your grades. Yeah, yeah. Maybe there should be a grade for networking.
Yeah.
Then you'll see all the Singaporean kids go
Actually.
out and go, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it, So let's go back to those resumes.
Yeah.
You say it's carbon copy, cookie cutter type thing, and you send hundreds of it out. So if you had to give advice to a fresh graduate about their resume and not to make those mistakes, Crystal, what would your advice be?
Well, the first thing is that I don't think it's necessarily even about the resume. I would say that the approach is more about problem identification, which is a higher order skill than problem solving. So if you think about it, every single job is just a problem that needs to be solved, that a whole bunch of people have banded together to solve.
Okay.
So like Nike is about solving the problem where to get great shoes and to support athletes, for example. So the first step is to actually just take a step backward, zoom out and think, what problems in the world today am I really curious, really excited about helping solve? And then once you have a list of those, you can kind of narrow down which sectors, which areas you might wish to be interested in.
Okay.
And that's when I go into, once you've got an idea of where you want to start and you're self-aware enough, then that's where you need to think creatively about how you can offer value to that sector.
To your potential employer.
Yeah.
This is one of your strategies, which you call offer a free sample.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you gave an example of how someone wanted to join Airbnb and then got turned down, nobody responded.
Yeah.
But then so what she did was she duplicated the Airbnb website. Well, it looked similar.
The landing page was similar,
And then she started to give ideas about how Airbnb could be better.
Absolutely. So this is a great idea. You could even write an email or in your cover letter to your employer, say like, look, I have a look at your website or your strategy. Here's some markets I think you should go into that are exciting or some business opportunities for you.
And in this day and age, it wouldn't appear pushy, like you're trying to talk down to your future employer?
No, I don't think so. And not in the phrasing. Of course, you're not going to say that this is what you should do. It's like, but what employers also find really interesting is that, as a millennial, and lots of employers are trying to tap into the Gen Z and the millennial market for their clients. So they often don't have that fresh perspective on how their product actually looks to the eyes of their market.
This is the first of your 4 strategies. We'll come back and talk some more. Meantime, let's have
3 more strategies.
Let's do that. Crystal?
Okay, so actually the second strategy is what I call the third door. It's coined by a guy called Alex Banayan. Essentially, I think of getting into a nightclub. 99% of people going to queue at the front door, and then like a small fraction going to come in through the VIP entrance, which is the second door, right? But if you're not J-Lo or in David Beckham or whatever, you got to find a third door. And the news is that there's always another way in. This is like, even if it's like running down the alley and banging on the kitchen entrance and finding someone on the insight to get you in. It's basically trying to think of a different way in that bypasses the crowds at the front door.
Can you give us an example of somebody who successfully went through a third door?
Well, you know, it's interesting because like people think, oh, this is just for entrepreneurs, but I can tell you even academic professors use the third door. For instance, one of my ex-professors that I worked with, he was trying to get a book published and he was getting rejected. And what he did is he looked at the most prestigious journal and memorized like the masthead of all the editors. Okay. And he went to a conference and he went around scanning the name tags to see who it was. And then he found that person and then struck out a conversation and had the whole pitch and pitched that person. That's an academic, that's a researcher, but that's an example of him using the third door strategy.
Okay, so if I know I want to work for your company and I know you hang out at a cafe, I can go there and make conversation with you and show and basically strike a rapport.
Well, something like that. As a stalker.
Well, yeah, might, but maybe not at the cafe. But
at the cafe.
But imagine, like for instance, I just hired an intern the other day.
Yeah.
She's interested in mindfulness. This actually comes to the third strategy, which is finding your tribe.
Okay.
Right. So finding your tribe strategy is about looking for a bunch of people who are passionate about what you're also passionate about.
So like-minded people.
Like-minded people. Find your tribe, socialize with them, meet up in person, or join a discussion group on LinkedIn.
And you were saying this also starts in school,
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
This starts in school. So coming back to my intern, Zozo, right? She just started with me. How she found us is that she's interested in mindfulness. She started Googling mindfulness charities. She found Brahm Center in Singapore. She then Googled the board and she read the bio of every single person on the board, and she found my husband and my partner Greg, and she reached out to him and said, hey, I'm really interested, I'm back in town, I want an internship. These are 3 ways in which I could contribute. I could help you with your social media, I could do this, which is an example also of the offer a free sample strategy. So Zozo's really my perfect example of the third door, the offer a free sample strategy, and also a finding your tribe strategy.
Okay, so we're at 3?
Yes.
3 down?
One more.
To go?
One more. The last one is the self-awareness strategy.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't actually, well, particularly at that stage of being fresh graduates, they don't understand themselves very well. They don't know their preferences. They don't know their strengths. And in general, I would say that Singaporeans don't utilize the resources, the many resources that we have. And when I travel around the world, people go, oh my God, we're so jealous of Singaporeans. You have SkillsFuture, you have free coaching appointments. But, the sad truth is that people don't use those. And I think you should really tap on every single opportunity to get an opinion from the experts. So by experts, I mean people who are experienced in the sector, relatives working in the sector that you're interested in, or even like career coaches who can give you a different perspective.
Okay, so that's 4 out of 4. Is that really going to be enough? Anything else that job seekers should be aware of? It's obviously an evolving and developing area, I guess, job search in the 21st century.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, 2/3 of the kids in primary school today, just look at a primary school next time you walk past. 2/3 of those guys are going to end up in jobs that don't even exist today. And that's the key difficulty, because if we don't know what the jobs of the future are, it's very hard to prepare them using just education.
Yes.
You need to also change mindsets and attitudes. So one of the things I like to think of is like luck is important. Of course it is. But luck is like a bus. There's always another bus and another bus and another bus. But the thing is that people go, oh, that I didn't get lucky like that person. But you know what? It's a question of preparation as well. So that when the bus comes along, firstly, you're aware enough to spot the bus. Secondly, it's are you prepared to jump on that bus and to say, hey, this is my ticket, this is what I have, this is how I can contribute. And the bus driver says, all right, hop on board, you're part of the team, right?
Well, guys, you should actually watch Crystal Lim-Lange talk, because if you can replicate this energy, I think you ace every interview. Crystal, thank you for being here, CEO of Forest Wolf. Look out for Crystal's upcoming book, Deep Human. Plus, of course, she wrote that commentary on CNA.Asia about how you can recession-proof your resume, and hope you get to pick up some amazing tips there. 8:58